What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Can you believe that little old us, we're about to hit 90,000 subscribers, I think by the end of the day today or early tomorrow. It's really crazy to think. I'm excited but really nervous because the bigger I get, the more worried I am that like my coworkers will find my videos and it'll be like awkward. Anyway, let's jump into a recap of what went down on Teen Mom OG Season 9, Episode 2. Kate is in her kitchen. She is texting Amber to see if she could be there for her in any way. Somehow, some way, 3-year-olds can manage on their own, but damn near 30-year-old Kung Fu Portwood cannot. Upon hearing that Amber would love to have all of the girls' support, Kate calls Maci to relay the news, and Maci, who once threatened to quit the show because Farrah did a porn video and she didn't want to be associated with, says she would love nothing more in the world than to support Amber Portwood through her second domestic violence case. Yes, the Amber who allegedly chased her boyfriend and child around the home with a machete. That is who Maci is not even the slightest bit embarrassed to be supporting. Once she hangs up the phone with Catelynn, she talks to Taylor about, her plans to go down to Indiana, and then she also mentions how Mackenzie and Ryan had requested for Bentley to go golfing with them, and she was more than happy to send him over there while she is gone. Next, we're down in LA where Matt is still staying at Cheyenne's place while he looks at apartments, and Cory comes over and just starts digging at Cheyenne's parenting style. He's basically telling her that her home has no rules and that Ryder kind of runs things over there, and yeah, he seems to be really setting the stage here. The next time we see any of the girls, it is in a group scene. They all pile into a van to drive on over to pick Amber out for her court date. In the van is Maci, Catelynn, and Cheyenne. Mackenzie was not there. On the one hand, I am really proud of Mackenzie for not supporting any of this BS, but on the other hand, I kind of think that she just wasn't really invited to because she is the newest one of the cast. Like, Cheyenne's still new, but she has a season on Mackenzie, and they're all like within the same age group, whereas Mackenzie is quite a bit younger than the other girls, so I think that that is a real reason why she did not end up joining any of them. On the ride over to Amber's place, they all talk about how things are portrayed one-sidedly, like, you cannot like just believe this one side, which is ironic because they're about to be on a show, they're filming for a show that is only going to portray Amber's side of what happened, and they're going to be talking to Amber to get her side of what happened. They're never really going to get the full picture here. They also talk about how they don't read any of the reports online or anything like that, but like, listen, the police report, a good portion of it had been released by this point. So, either you want to read an official report about what happened or you want to play dumb and take the side of a perpetual abuser. At the end of the day, you decide your poison. Truly trying to cement her place in this, like, bum-ass clique, Cheyenne was like, you know what? No matter what happened, Amber deserves support, love, and friends. And the other girls, of course, agree. But listen, they're all mothers here, and I am pretty damn sure that if anybody did something like that to their children, or if their spouses did something like that to them and their children, they would not be singing the same damn tune. And speaking of our Mackenzie missing in action, we find out that she kicked Josh out of the house. I wonder what park bench this man is sleeping on for the time being, or if he's staying with any one of his side chicks. Quick sidebar, Mackenzie looked so pretty in that scene where she was talking about her clothing line with her mother and her sister. I loved her hair and that cute little like scrunchie that she had on. Like, she looked so good. Like, kicking an F-boy to the curb truly does add a few years of life back onto your time span. Now, Amber gets in the car with the girls and says that Andrew had been acting weird this whole time and that she had caught him doing some shady stuff with her banking, but of course she couldn't talk too much about the case because duh, it's unfolding right now. They're on the way to the freaking courthouse. So let's talk about this for a second. Amber does have a long history of, for whatever reason, allowing her bum-ass, broke-ass boyfriends to have access to her funds. And I really wonder when the heck she is going to learn her lesson. Like, sis, you don't know these men. Like, yeah, you're getting knocked up by them like so damn quick. What was it, 9 days, 10 days before Andrew knocked her up? But still, don't let him go through your banking information. Like, Matt Bayer had already allegedly stolen upwards of $20,000 from her. Her mother admitted to gambling away over $30,000 of her money. So when is this girl gonna learn her freaking lesson and stop allowing other adults to access her bank accounts? Like, we're all grown here. We could all make our own damn money. Leave my coins alone. Another really interesting thing that she said was how her daughter Leah had been stressed out for her. And I felt so devastated for Leah because this has been her life for way too long, and I think it's only going to continue. I don't think Amber will ever get better. I think she's just going to continue to decline in the unfortunate life choices that she makes. I hate to say it, you guys, but I don't think Bentley likes Ryan like at all. Like, he definitely doesn't see Ryan as a dad, and like, who can blame him with the way that their relationship has been over the years? But not only that, like, I don't think he even likes him as a big brother, an uncle, a cousin, or like a friend or anything. Ooh, an emergency alert, y'all. Travelers returning to Ontario, you are at high risk of spreading COVID-19. You are required by law to self-isolate for 14 days. Do not visit stores, family, or friends. Everyone should stay home and stop the spread. Learn more at Ontario. Now, back to the recap, you guys. Yeah, I don't think that Bentley likes Ryan at all, like in any sense of the word. And the tension between them is very palpable. And Ryan is like a weirdo. Like, he treats his son like some competitor, like some like little like whatever from the playground. He was like, oh, like, you lost that point, I'm not gonna give you that point, while they were golfing and stuff. And like, he just did not stop ribbing at this poor child. And he didn't even say hi when he saw Bentley for the first time. Bentley pulls up for the first time with his parents, and all Ryan can say is, oh, like, I knew they'd buy him new clothes, and he's bitching about it rather than being like, oh my god, like, hey Bentley, how are you? It's been a while, like, to himself or to his wife, it's been a while since I've seen him. But of course, no, all he can do is complain about his child per usual. Gary and Christina join Amber in court, and they all pray over her. They are brave people to be out there praying about Amber freaking Portwood and not worried that a lightning bolt would strike through them for wasting the good Lord's time. Andrew actually walks right past Amber, which I felt like, the courts really are not doing their best to protect victims from perpetrators, alleged, all around, of course. We find out at the end of the hearing that the judge had lifted the protective order that Andrew had filed on behalf of his son James against Amber. When all is said and done, the girls all sit down to talk about the day in court, and we kind of see Amber fake some tears actually just before this, and like nothing falls out per usual. And then she's talking to the girls, accusing Andrew of the same thing. She's like, I was like in tears about this happening with my son. Dry tears. And he just sat there, stone faced, not doing anything. Dude, he's probably cried enough, like, after all that you've put him and his child through. You're the one who is facing criminal charges, not him. And did you guys peep Maci's statement? She drinks her water and she goes, narcissist. Are you guys finally gonna admit that Maci is trash? I've been saying this for a while, for years, ever since the Farrah situation, but like, her fans jump all over people. Like, I'm sorry, but Maci is trash. That was a really, really tasteless comment for her to make about Andrew in light of what she is out there supporting. Like, really, you're gonna call a victim of domestic violence a narcissist because he did not perform the way that his abuser wanted him to? Really, girl? That is such a bad look for Maci. Her problematic ways have been going under the radar for way too damn long, you guys. Like, you know, the real her truly is coming out here. Down south again, it's Gannon's birthday, and Josh makes a brief appearance before abruptly leaving in the car that Mackenzie bought to do God knows what, or should I say God knows who. Back home in Indiana, Gary and Christina sit down to talk about how Amber messed up doing what she did, but that they support her over Andrew because they feel that he is a manipulative person behind closed doors. I should not say they. It was actually Gary who made this statement. And quite frankly, I have to say that I agree. Just based off of Andrew's track record with women, if you watch back the season where he was introduced to us, I felt like he was a Matt 2.0, following the same blueprint that Matt had laid out. Remember, he came to Amber's house with a one-way ticket and just did not leave. Like, that went to show that he had nothing going for himself and wanted to like kind of corner her into making this work by just like kind of setting up shop at her house. Like, people who do that, there's something wrong with them to start with. And again, going back to his history, he's got a history of stalking and abusing women. Like, it's very public. If you Google him, and his record, you'll be able to see everything that he has done in the past. So I think that his intentions with Amber were malicious from the start. I don't think he had a genuine interest in Amber. He was working with her on marriage boot camp where she was acting a plumb fool, like a straight up psycho that a normal person would not go for. So I think that this is him. He thought that like he would get the connections because, you know, she's a reality star and he wants to do the cinematography stuff. He thought maybe he can get an MTV Connect or something else through her, but it kind of blew up in his face. And remember, he knocked her up in less than 2 weeks. Like, come on, like something is going on with this guy. Although he was a victim that night, I think that he did not have pure intentions when he got with Amber, and I do believe that he is a manipulative person, especially with the whole like him planting cameras around the house and or like secretly recording her on drives and stuff. Yes, she was being a psycho and everything, but we were not getting the true Andrew in those recordings because it was Andrew making the recordings, meaning he could censor himself while he was recording and be a completely different person when he was not. But remember, Amber is still trash. That is not me downplaying anything about her whatsoever. And speaking of Amber, back at the hotel, tear-free Portwood claims to be worried about losing time with her son, James, and as usual, attempts to cry with no tears coming out. Give it up, girl. You are embarrassing yourself. And, you know, speaking of not being able to cry about the thought of your child, doesn't that make her a narcissist, Maci? What if you guys, Cory is still dragging Cheyenne about her parenting skills, and I've got to wonder, like, did they work this out as a storyline for themselves, or is he really, truly throwing her under the bus? It's hard to see because they had the best co-parenting relationship of anyone I had ever seen in the teen mom world, like from jump. So I don't want to see him throw it away for reality television. He's like, remember last season when Cheyenne and her boyfriend were at that winery and Ryder was like acting up, screaming, and she wasn't really doing anything to calm her down? I am concerned about like the lack of structure in her home. Over here, we get Ryder to bed at a certain time. We discipline her, but like Cheyenne does nothing of the sort. And he kind of literally, like in no uncertain terms, says that Cheyenne does not parent their child. And I just know that the reunion special is about to be lit if Miss Rona allows us to even shoot the damn thing this year, because Cheyenne is going to be coming in guns a-blazing. When Cheyenne returns home to Michigan, she goes for a visit with her psychiatrist, and I'm so happy for the progress that she has made this year, or this season, should I say. She looks really happy. She tells her psychiatrist that she did not have any postpartum depression with Veda, which would make it the first baby that she didn't have any with. And then they talk about the medication that she came to the psychiatrist while she was on. And it seems like a really potent cocktail because the psychiatrist is like, first of all, I would never really put anyone on those sorts of drugs, that family of drugs. And, you know, you feel like you're doing well and you want to get off of them, but I'm warning you that it's very, very difficult to wean off of these drugs. And it's not just like a month's kind of thing. It might not even just be 1 year. It could take years just to start weaning, not to be completely off of these drugs. So I'm like, that's heartbreaking. I am really nervous for Kate if she decides to start going down that route. I don't know what can happen there. Like it's a really scary thing, and it makes you wonder what the heck some of these doctors put people on, you know? Like she's such a young girl, and it's scary to think that she's been put on something so strong that it's almost impossible to get her off, especially considering she's probably got like another 80-ish years. Like, jeez. After Kate's scene with her psychiatrist, we get a PSA about mental health, which is great. I'm not criticizing that at all. What I am criticizing, though, is the fact that, oh, like, we've got PSAs to hand out here, which is good. Why are we not doing it for domestic violence victims? Like, I didn't see one in episode 1, and I did not see one in episode 2 as well, despite the fact that both of them heavily revolve around the fact that Amber is on trial for abusing her baby daddy. After their day of golfing, Ryan and Mackenzie go out for fajitas, and all they can do is complain about the fact that Bentley is a very active child, as per usual. They're like, why does Maci have him in all these sports? He doesn't have time for anything. Like, really, dude, your child is fit and active, which is more than like a lot of people can say for like their kids. You should be happy that, first of all, you can afford this, and second of all, he is going to have such good health throughout his life because of these healthy kind of habits or programs that his parents are putting him in. By the way, you guys, we have to talk about this. Every season, Mackenzie digs a little bit deeper into Ryan's pockets. Last season, she had a bunch of LV bags. We saw her Rolex watch for the first time. And now our girl has a Chanel boyfriend bag, which is what, like $5,000 or something like that. She knew exactly what she was doing, marrying a TV star who was so high out of his mind that he couldn't legally actually consent to marrying her. This Black Widow is a whole ass gold digger, getting her money's worth out of this man. Let's go back to the other Mackenzie. Her conversation with her sister was really heartbreaking because she talks about the way that Josh makes her feel and how she's never really believed that he's loved her. And, you know, walking down the aisle, she knew that she was making a big mistake. And then they play back the footage and it looked like two high school kids, which kind of was, not knowing what the heck they were doing, which is sad. And she's like, I shouldn't have had like more kids with him, blah, 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 which makes me wonder, like, why couldn't she have just like stuck with the one? You know, if you're one of those like, oh, I want to wait until my kid is like 18 or something, then I can leave. Why keep having more kids and bumping your time further and further out? Like, maybe there were some times where she thought that things had changed and they could make it, but man, 3 kids down, girl. This is very, very sad. It truly is. Back in Indiana again, Larry calls Andrew to ask him for his side of the story of what went down that fateful night between him and Amber Portwood. They go to visit him at the home. They don't bring cameras into the home, but they are mic'd up, so we're able to hear what was said while they were there. Andrew says that Amber always blacks out and forgets, or like chooses to forget what happens whenever she has abusive episodes. But you know what? It's no longer his job to try to get her mentally stable or help or anything like that. And then he kind of pauses and he goes, you know, before we continue, you know, I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember word for word, but he's basically like, before we continue, you know, I don't think it's fair that I'm not being paid as much as other people. Like, if you want my story, you're going to need me to pay me as much as other people, which I was kind of like, sir, like the fact that you are leaving your abuse story on a cliffhanger hinging on money when you're already being paid to appear on the show is very tasteless. Remember, when David and Janelle were going through their drama when they lost the kids, we found out how much the boyfriends made. So David, in his first season of the show, made $60,000, and second, he was on track to make $90,000 to $100,000. And considering the fact that Andrew has never really had a job that pays much of anything, like he did a bunch of like one-off. He was holding a microphone, okay, when he met Amber. Like, who? I don't know how much they pay you to do that. And then before that, he was making his own like low-budget movies. Like, this guy was not making money. So the fact that you're here making 90 to 100 to not even really share that much of yourself, and you're about to demand to get paid the same amount as people who have been on the show for 10 plus years, bearing their whole lives, not just this one incident aspect of their life, but their whole lives, like all the different aspects of it, rubbed me the wrong way. It truly did. It truly did. I did not like that at all. And, you know, I think it kind of goes back to what Andrew's motives are in this whole entire situation. I will leave that up for you guys to discuss in the comment section because I think you kind of already know where I stand there. Back in Michigan, Catelynn, Tyler, and her younger brother sit around to talk about her mental health progress. Again, I'm really happy for Kate, and I hope that this continues. There was some talk about tapering off of her drugs, but keeping in mind what her psychiatrist said about how difficult that would be, I truly hope that she does not fall into any kind of pressure to get off of them, because that is the safest place for her to be right now. That is the reason why she's doing so well. Now, in the final scene of the episode, Cory had Ryder dressed up so freaking cute when he brought her to Cheyenne's place for that pool party thing. I was like, yes, dude. After Cheyenne tries to walk Cory out, he's like, let's kind of just sit down and talk a little bit. And he starts to lay down the parenting laws by asking her to start having Ryder go to bed by 9, try reading a bedtime story to her. I was like, who the hell does this boy think he is? He is talking to Cheyenne like she is a babysitter. The disrespect of it all. But it did have me questioning, like, does this girl not read to her child? Like, why would he say that? That was weird. He then tells her that he's not sure that she's focused on Ryder. He feels like her priorities have kind of shifted. And yeah, she very rightfully curses him out. The only unfortunate thing was that this happened while she was holding their baby. Like, it's not good to have these kinds of arguments while you're holding a child who can hear and speak, right? Like, it's not good at all. But yeah, like, she was well within her rights to be offended by the way that Cory was speaking to her. It was very, very disrespectful, if you ask me. And, you know, again, on Cory's part, like, you're going to talk about being this amazing father and stuff. Meanwhile, you want to have this conversation in front of your damn child? No, boo, that was not right at all. Especially considering where he was last year while his child was in the hospital severely ill. He was on vacation in Mexico and did not come back early. He was like, oh no, she's gonna be fine. Guys, what do you think is going down between Cory and Cheyenne? Is he clout chasing to be kind of perceived as this amazing father? Or do they both have an agreement where someone was about to be dragged so that they can keep their storyline fresh and popping? Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions, in addition to the stuff about Andrew. Gary saying that Andrew was a manipulative person, Andrew fighting for more money in order to tell his side of the story. And what did you think about Maci, her calling Andrew a narcissist? How about Catelynn, her mental health improving? Let me know what you think about everything in the comment section down below, and as usual, we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.